3 years ago, I decided to build a tiny house. I designed everything myself and it was the exact mold of what I wanted. Halfway through the build, I met my now husband who loved the idea and completely adapted his lifestyle to live in a tiny house since it was my dream. We set up a gaming desk for him, a full dresser for all of his clothes that we thought would be enough. Fast forward to today and we just bought our dream farm to park our tiny house. So we had tons of extra space that felt a bit empty. And since we've already built one tiny house, we figured we'd build another one. And this is our new project, the shed conversion. In the next few weeks, we will be building out my husband's dream man cave, show you guys the step-by-step process of taking this empty pre-built shed into a luxurious tiny house. And of course, if you guys want to follow along this project, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we're going to be filming the whole thing from start to finish. And if there's anything I learned when building our first tiny house on wheels, it's that planning is the most important step. So that's why we really took our time when we were planning out exactly what we wanted the shed conversion to have. Since we typically have a lot of friends come over, we definitely wanted to have a guest house for people to stay when they do come to visit. After all, we are Brazilian, so we love a good churrasco, so we definitely wanted to have a nice party space to where we can play music. And we aren't just doing all of this for our guests. My husband has dreamed of having his own gaming corner all his life, so we're going to be building that out. And of course, a closet and some extra storage rooms so that he doesn't have to fit all his clothes in a 3-drawer dresser. And if you're thinking about building your own tiny house, regardless if it's on wheels, if it's a shed conversion, I think writing everything down is one of the most important steps, so that way you have a little checklist. The research is definitely where you'll make or break your tiny house design, so you want to make sure you're spending a lot of time on the research and make sure you can envision a layout that will work for everything you made on the list. And of course, some of the resources that I love using is Pinterest, YouTube, but I also love reaching out to tiny house owners so that way we can actually go out and see what they look like from the inside. Since we're building this in Florida, we went shopping for them and we did notice that they had tons of different models, not to mention the longest size that we would find in the stores themselves is 32 feet, which seems to be the biggest that they produce. We're back looking at sheds today to build out the little man cave. We're gonna look at a few more sheds, see if they're any different, and then we're gonna place our order. However, you'll later find out that we actually decided to go for a custom one and do a 36-foot shed. Since we already knew our size and how big we were gonna go, I decided to draw this on paper first so that way we can move some things around quite easily before we actually put it into the computer. Since the initial drawing is just kind of ideas tossed around, most of these items won't be to scale, so once we put it in the 3D rendering, we're gonna see the sizes of things and we can adjust accordingly, so make sure you leave some wiggle room. Once we had the building layout kind of in its place, we wanted to make sure that this was gonna fit in with our co-living space, which is our original tiny house. So I decided to add it onto Live Home 3D so we can easily move things around and actually see where all the appliances are gonna go. Not to mention, this is a great way to get a full 3D rendering of your project before you even start. I think one of the most important things that I learned when I was remodeling houses, redesigning them, and also building the first tiny house is the fact that you want to keep all of your plumbing kind of sectioned off to one portion of the house, and you want to make sure that your electrical also has a flow to it. So the first thing that was super important was making the kitchen somewhat near the bathroom and also make it on one side of the house. That way it's a lot easier to run the pipes underneath. So we decided to do a U-shaped kitchen facing on the back wall of the bathroom. That way all of the plumbing and drains are all condensed to one side of the house. And with the electrical, there's really no other way to go around it because you're going to need lights, you're going to need switches, you're going to need outlets, so basically you're going to have to wire the whole house. And so to finish off our planning, we decided to do a full 3D rendering of the place. That way we can really see what the full inside is going to look like, including the materials that we want to use. We wanted to start off with the main area of the house where we decided to do a wraparound bar area and the living room, which is also going to serve as a bit of an office. And for the bathroom, we absolutely love the design that we came up with, especially since we had to fit a washer and dryer in there as well. Since the space is meant for entertaining, we really wanted to have that open bar concept so we could put out some bar stools and have some friends over for a good time. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on the whole design that we came up with, and I'm so excited to see the final product. So make sure you guys leave us a comment down below because there's still time to change things.